Must read for everyone. The man who created Nesara. The claim shocked Harvey Barnard, 62, an engineer, consultant and teacher from Louisiana who wrote Nesara 13 years ago during an academic daydream. While fooling around with mathematical formulas applied to economics, he decided the American economy was fundamentally unstable. So he came up with new formulas, translated them into legal language and wrote a bill. It was just an exercise to see if I could do it, he says. Barnard printed 1,000 copies and sent them to every member of Congress. At first, he figured the idea was so obvious, he'd have to wait about a week for the bill to pass. Unfortunately, no one was interested in saving the economy. He still pitches the idea, and provides copies of his bill on his website. But no one has ever sponsored it. The rumors from Dove suggested otherwise, that the law had been secretly passed. Dove started referring to Nesara by name, and directing readers to Barnard's website. The hits jumped and people started emailing questions. Barnard was pleased by the interest, but puzzled by claims that Nesara had passed. At first, he replied to messages with gentle debunking. He pointed readers to official records of congressional actions, and asked them to look for themselves. Nesara hadn't been introduced, let alone passed. It was unlikely, he said, that every member of Congress, thousands of aides and the media would conspire to keep such a thing secret. If you believe any of that, you might also want to start looking for oceanfront property in Nebraska, he wrote. Indifferent to Barnard's message, Dove charged ahead, giving more details about what Nesara would accomplish, including forgiveness of mortgage and credit card debt. Subscriptions to her e-group rose above 2,000. Barnard did some more research, discovered the clusters of Omega bulletin boards and read news stories about the case. He realized people were attaching his brainchild to a scam. Part of him wondered whether this was a deliberate disinformation campaign to discredit his idea. The other part wondered if these rumors came from somebody wearing a tinfoil hat. Two different explanations, he says. The simpler one is probably more nearly correct. Again, he responded to the streams of questions, this time with a tougher tone. Many people who write to us seem to believe we are somehow connected with various financial schemes, he wrote. At least some people are representing or claiming such an idea. We cannot vouch for the validity of those schemes, nor do we care to investigate. To rumors of debt forgiveness, Barnard responded with specifics. That wasn't how his bill worked. True, it would change certain banking laws, but no loans would be forgiven. We really do not know how to dispel such rumors other than refute them, but you can help by not forwarding the rumors to others, he wrote. When people relayed Barnard's messages to Dove, she dismissed them. It was obvious that the Nesara people couldn't discuss what was happening. They weren't talking to her high-level sources. On April 8, 2001, she explained it all. Why would the people at the Nesara website commit treason punishable by death by telling anyone who writes them that Nesara secretly passed in March 2000, she wrote. Leave the Nesara people alone, you are showing your ignorance by asking them to commit treason. Read complete article here. Snared by a cyber cult queen signed, still hanging on _up like _down dislikesith. Friday, May 25, 2018, 9:14 a.m. by Sith History of Nesara by Still Hanging On, May 24, 18n.e.s.a.ra Bullshit Alert %2528f %2529 _2018-05-24 Warning, Nesara attack by Ron Giles. 2. Still hanging on. Let go, you're finished, it's done, the turkey timer has popped, time to serve up this Nesara turkey. The horse is dead, quit whipping it. Nesara will be the law of the land and you're not invited to the dinner. The Real Nesara History. Real good link here, http://goldenage.gaia.com/2010/3/james-rink-partial-history-of-the-history-and-reformation-act. My 2 bits worth, a shortened version. Nesara is a law that came about as a result of the successful Farmers Union lawsuit. This lawsuit was successfully upheld by the Supreme Court. The cabal members of the Supreme Court had a problem on their hands. They could not let this information out as it showed that the government and the bankster had colluded to rob farmers of their land grants. You cannot legally take away a land grant once it is given, including foreclosure. The land grants are called land patents that create an allodial title, which is the basis upon which property ownership is supposed to be brought forward by title search. Once the title to the property is searched and the patent brought forward, the allodial title cannot be legally used as collateral for a loan, as foreclosure cannot be executed on a land patent. It can be transferred by legal means, but it cannot be foreclosed on as remedy for an unpaid loan. The banks gave loans and required these ignorant land patent owners to use their land as collateral. When the weather was weaponized to create crop failures, the loans were illegally foreclosed on by the maritime legal system supported by the cabal government, who had forced the U.S. into bankruptcy as stated above. The cabal foreclosed on America and claimed that they now owned all the land and the people. Along with the land, we are considered their property. A retired military general came home from war and found that when his dad died, the government had allowed the banks to take away his farm through foreclosure. He researched the filings and found out about the land patents, gathered up a contingency of farmers who had similar illegal foreclosures and sued the banks and the government and won. The restitution had to be through a bill passed in Congress to allocate money to settle the claims. The lawsuit also uncovered the corruption within the government. This lawsuit opened up Pandora's box, and if the collusion between the banks and the government ever got out, there would be major consequences. So, a gag order was put in place on all members of Congress and news agencies, the violation of which was punishable by death. They erased any and all tracks that had to do with the judgment as if it did not exist. So, cabal-like. The remedies for the farmers was not enough, changes in the government had to be implemented as well. Because the present government, including the office of the president, all of Congress, and the Supreme Court, were complicit in the scam, all government officials had to resign. The National Economic Security and Reformation Act, Nesara, was passed by Congress and signed into law by Bill Clinton in 2000. The law could not be put into positive law in the Code of Federal Regulations, CFR, until it was announced publicly. 4 justices of the Supreme Court were responsible to implement the Nesara law. The military was heavily involved and was part of the implementation process as well. That's why the Pentagon was hit on 9/11. The Pentagon housed the communication software that supported the announcement. The Twin Towers housed the computers to zero out all fiat debt. A military underground facility in Pennsylvania was also destroyed that supported the announcement. All 3 were hit on 9/11. It effectively put the implementation of Nesara on hold and showed to the world the extreme measures that the cabal would go through to maintain their power. The post link above and the referenced article is intended to give a false narrative concerning the real Nesara. The above article says that the Dove, next paragraph, called it Nesara, an acronym for the National Economic Stabilization and Recovery Act. This is a lie. She always called Nesara the National Economic Security and Reformation Act, which it is. This article goes to great lengths to defame Shani Goodwin, who went by the name of Dove, or the Dove of Oneness. She was the champion of Nesara for many years before her untimely death. There are cabal, operative footprints all over this article as it spews forth lies mixed with truth. The Omega Investment Group is used as the basis to discredit all persons associated with Nesara. The Omega Investment Group had absolutely nothing to do with the actual Nesara law itself, but is used to discredit the actuality of the law. The release of the prosperity packages is to accompany the announcement that will disseminate funds held in the Saint Germain World Trust, the grandfather of all trust. These prosperity packages are not to be confused with the RV or the GCR. They are all separate entities. Regardless of this diatribe, some real questions remain. Why is it coming out at this time, and why does it go to great lengths and money to discredit a person who was only a champion of Nesara and was trying to get it announced? Why would someone come to IDC, a source of information about Nesara/Gesara, and want us to believe in his BS? My BS meter pegged and turned red when I read this article. It is obvious to anyone with knowledge of Nesara that it is fallacious and should be considered disinformation. Do a Google search for Nesara and you will find a lot of disinformation and different names for Nesara, but the real Nesara acronym is for the National Economic Security and Reformation Act. Would you expect anything different from the cabal when so much rides on them keeping this information a secret? Call these cabal minions for what they are: liars, murderers, baby killers, Satanists, and the real Antichrist. Believing in this diatribe gives reason to change the color of your chalk. Be strong and stay the course. I am going back to my room now to breath and put my sword away. Enough said for now. Ron Giles. P.S. Google search link for National Economic Security and Reformation Act. Please note, the above underlined link in quotations gives many possibilities. Find the words that use the proper name for the act. PPS. Do an archive search on IDC for some more info about Nesara. _up like _down dislike Sith. Friday, May 25, 2018, 9:16 a.m. by Sith Re. Warning, Nesara attack by Wildfire Lady. Bravo! You said it better and more eloquently than I could have. Besides looking up Nesara on the internet, I suggest that readers also look up the Saint Germain Trust and read how hard it was to get Nesara to be finalized. The final step of Nesara being announced still hasn't materialized. Happy reading. Nam Saint, Wildfire Lady Re. Warning, Nesara attack by Margot. Dearest Ron Giles. Thank you so much for sharing the true history of Nesara with this community and for telling the truth about the true Nesara law. Farmers Union / Allodial titles. Dove of Oneness, bless her beautiful soul for all her efforts in bringing Nesara to fruition. The Omega Investment Group not linked with the true Nesara law, about the prosperity packages and the Saint Germain World Trust. Your corrections was very important and will benefit this IDC community tremendously. Thank you, Ron. Like you, I still get upset after 20 plus years, when I read such disinformation from the cabal about the true Nesara law. Breathe. Ron, thank you also for all your other valuable information that you always share with us. We all love you and appreciate you very much. Nesara now? Margot. Nesara is the real deal by Anonymous. Ron, thank you for caring enough about everyone here to clearly state the facts. I know for a fact that Ron Giles is stating the absolute truth and nothing but truth here in his rebuttal. I had the same thoughts about the earlier article. I wondered why it was written, what was the agenda here? And then I just figured it was simply more ignorance. I'm glad that Ron has published this here to set the story straight. Politicians taking office sign their own form of NDA, agreeing to leave office once Nesara is activated and not to challenge the event. Nesara must be activated immediately following RVGCR. Otherwise we can know for certain we are not following the original, true, legal constitution. What we really seek is transparency. The Supreme Court justices are aware of this perversion of the Constitution, yet they wait for the stage to be set and their final act to take place. All while people suffer and evil and corruption and foreclosure prevails. It's downright criminal. I thank God for the angels among us bringing truth and justice to the world. Wouldn't it be an amazing thing to see any of these justices on the record, in front of the world, on film, telling the Nesara story? It will happen. And in the very near future. History of Nesara by John. To begin with, the National Economic Security and Reformation Act was passed and signed into law but not implemented yet. The reason you won't find it in the congressional record is very simple. Due to the groundbreaking changes that it would bring about, the court documents from the Supreme Court were sealed and placed in the record under the guise of a commemorative coin. All participants in the Supreme Court case were placed under strict gag orders, with the penalty of violation being to the extreme. Senator Paul Wellstone was insistent the American people should know, and, due to his outspoken temperament on the subject, he and his family suffered the ultimate of penalty for doing so. This too can be found on the same internet your junk was found, and in the Nesara community this is a well-known fact. Here is one of the links that were easy enough to find. http://4wins10.com/citaran_data/nesara/history/news.php Q138479267 and it will give you information about documented facts of what led to its necessity. _up like _down dislike Sith. Saturday, May 26, 2018, 7:50 a.m. by Sith Re. Nesara is the real deal by Anonymous. In my haste to get this out in solidarity with Ranji, this post was sent without my usual closing. It works out though, since now I can take this opportunity to add another point or two. As mentioned previously, the Founding Fathers designed the Constitution after traveling to far points of the globe, gathering the very best guiding principles/laws in every land. That the bounty of this land support its people was one such principle wholeheartedly adopted. One example is Alaska, which while being one of our 52 states operates under its own constitution, and taken from our original constitution. Annually Alaska shares its profits with nationals. It's a small amount, Yes, but the principle is the thing. We've been shafted. Caught the short end of the stick. Had the wool pulled over our eyes. You get the picture. It's been business as usual. We've learned all about the Treasury direct accounts and the theft of our name/future earnings. So not only our heritage but our future is leveraged and usurped. The public launch of Nesara is the landmark we can grab a hold of that effectively illustrates immediate correction. The National Economic and Security Reformation Act is the freedom/validation of our national status and necessary. Nesara is the compensation for a lifetime of theft. Nesara is the true signal alarm that corruption in our government is truly resolved and finally corrected. It tells us that all of the illegal and harmful laws piled on over the years are null and void, right along with the illegal debt. Can I get an amen? No amount of money via the exchange is as important to me, personally, as Nesara, which demonstrates our country as the best and brightest shining republic with freedom and transparency as standards, and living without the corruption of political obfuscation. Without Nesara being enacted and clearly demonstrated, we can know that it is the same old cabal in charge. It is that important. I'm standing on Nesara. We stand together, back to back. Big hugs for one and all. Cardin _up like _down dislike Sith Monday, May 28, 2018, 8:07 a.m. by Sith The Spiritual Creation of Nesara by Margot May 27, 18 Still hanging on. It is time to kneel down and be humble? In your negative message you have failed to embrace the spiritual creation of Nesara. Nesara is God's plan and God's gift to humanity, that is unfolding on earth, all around us. Not you, the cabal or man-made law can prevent its manifestation. Yes, we had delays over the years, but God is in charge and we will have Nesara, with or without its name been announced. We will have love, peace, joy and abundance on earth. The golden age. Why? Because we, and you, have chosen this creation. You will never extinguish our Nesara bright light at the end of the tunnel with your negativity, for it is all our creation. As co-creators we all have chosen to create Nesara, in our minds and hearts. Even those people who never knew the name Nesara, the majority still don't, but strive in their hearts and minds, to have peace, love, joy, and abundance on earth. They have all contributed to the Nesara collective pool of consciousness. Why? Because the Nesara light creators that you are mocking, have breathed life into our Nesara creation for around 30 years. What have you done? Still hanging on, physically, mentally, emotionally and most importantly spiritually, to realize Nesara and its benefits for our ailing world. Light creators have already manifested Nesara in the spiritual world/higher realms, which is now unfolding on earth. Never ever condemn another being's positive creation. Instead focus on opening up the door to your own spiritual eyes, ears, and your heart. Then you will feel and hear the Nesara choir, singing ever so beautifully. The choice is yours. Still hanging on. Did you know that the Nesara light creators have sleep, live and breathed Nesara for all those years? Many sacrifices had been made over the years, but it was all worth it. How could you remove all value from our white knights/earth allies' efforts and compare it with believing in Santa Claus and pipe dreams? How ignorant can you be? Show some respect. These light creators have held and raised the Nesara torch, to light the world, to bring light to every heart. And you call them fools? Shame on you! Our Nesara white knights/earth allies have not died in vain to bring us Nesara. Many light creators have also died, aged, and others are sick and dying but are still supporting Nesara. I choose Nesara over the RV and GCR, for Nesara is humanity's solution to usher in heaven on earth and end world slavery, suffering and poverty. Money is only a temporary solution. Why become attached to it? Then there is the bigger picture of Nesara. You will find the answer when you be quiet and go within. You will never achieve to block the Nesara song in our hearts with your negativity, nor prevent our Nesara creation. Even you, still hanging on, and Judge Anna, whom I respect very much, have helped in creating Nesara. Thank you. Have you been so deaf and blind that you fail to see Nesara/Gesara unfolding all around us on our beautiful earth, even without its announcement to the world? God is in charge, not man. BTW, I am not religious, but I do believe in our divine creator. Instead of judging and condemning our Nesara earth allies and light creators, your energy is best spent on preparing for ascension and doing some visualizations and energy work, to help us create heaven on earth. Raise your vibrations. Such negativity is not for your highest good of all. Start practicing do no harm. United we stand, divided we fall, as above, so below, peace with